Hey everyone, it's Michael here at Home Health Success Academy. Website is homehealthsuccessacademy.com and 10xpatientreferrals.com. Now, what our company does is we help agencies learn how to be able to market their home health agency, their home care company, or their hospice agency. And what we want to be able to share with you guys in this video series is talking about how can you actually create that successful company that you guys have. Now, we're going to share with you guys 11 different parts that you need to be able to fix and work on and improve in order to be able to create a successful agency. Now, a lot of the topics we're going to talk about is going to be mainly in the marketing aspect of things, but we're also going to talk about how you can also use this within your office. And why I want to be able to share this with you guys is because I have had experience owning my own agencies, running my own agencies, and as well as running a team of marketers and a team of nurses that provides care to the public. And so in this video, what we're going to talk about is time management secrets. And we're going to discuss why it is important to be able to have time management. Now, money is wasted when you waste time. And so we want to be able to talk to you guys about what are things you guys can actually do to save some time in certain areas, what different things you can add to your routines to be able to make sure that you can save some time, which allows you to get in front of more people, finish tasks early, and at the same time as create a successful company. So let's go ahead and get started. So I want to share with you guys 6 simple steps throughout your entire staff, right? These are 6 simple steps that you should actually make sure that the people you're working with, whether it's in the office, whether it's the marketing team, even your nurses in the field should be able to know these 6 simple steps to be able to time manage themselves and to be able to save time and save money. So number 1, touch it once. Have you ever had that one thing that you had to do and you looked at it and you say, okay, there's going to be a lot of stuff to do. I want to be able to finish this. It's so important, but I'm going to put it in the side for now because I have these other things to do. And the very next day it pops up again. The third day it pops up again. You still haven't finished it. But then the worst part is this. You forget about it. And then a week later, you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't finished that. Okay, you know what? I'm going to get to it today. And then what happens is 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, it still has not been done. Have you ever had one of those things in your to-do list that never just got done, but it was so important? And then eventually when you get to it, what ends up happening is whether you were supposed to call a new referral source, but you never followed up, or you were supposed to follow up with a doctor regarding a new order that you never did and you get in trouble for that. So these things happens a lot in our industry. So one of the most important thing is the moment that you touch it, you need to create action right there and then. It's like opening up that email from that or that letter from someone that is important. And you read it, but you did not handle any of the call to actions within that. That is going to break a lot of things because guess what? It's already in front of you. So you might as well handle it right there and then rather than pushing it up later on to do. So one thing you have to do that you need to start taking actions on is touch it once. If you touch it, take action. Now look, if you're a manager, if you are a director of nursing, or if you are the marketing manager for your team, that does not mean that you have to do it. That is not the only action you need to do. What you can do is you can delegate it to someone else to be able to make sure that they actually handle it, right? So there are a lot of different things that I know I can do myself, but it is something that maybe I can transfer it on to someone else to do. So I would give it to my assistant if I need something to be sent, if I need something to be typed up, if I need something to be followed up on, something that they can actually handle. And that allows me to be able to have more time to do other things in the list that I have to be able to accomplish. So one good example is this, is that, responding to emails, for example. If I need to send one particular email subject to maybe 100 potential referral sources, instead of me sitting in front of my computer and typing out each one of these emails to them, I use an email list company. And so what ends up happening is I used to use MailChimp, for example, and I can actually go ahead and enter everyone's name all at once, and then all of a sudden use the email by MailChimp to send the same email to all of them. But here's the fun part about that. It also allows me to know, did they actually open up the email that I sent them? I can actually see that from that particular company that I use, right? Allows me to be able to measure what I'm doing, okay? And so what are other things that you can actually do? Whether you can have an assistant right now, or is it something that you can use a technology-based product that can do things for you to save you time? But no matter what, touching it once and taking action on it right there and then is vital for you to be able to save some time. Because guess what? It's an important item. It needs to be handled. And if you don't handle it right there and then, you're eventually going to have to handle it again. But guess what? You open, let's say, for example, just the email, right? I open up the email. I see that. It's fresh in front of me. Those 2 minutes, 3 minutes that I'm reading this particular email, okay? If I don't take action now, eventually I'm going to have to open up that email again, and I need to make sure I browse through the email again to be able to make sure, do I remember everything that was part of it to cover anything, and then respond to it. So guess what? You wasted 3 minutes because you did the same exact thing of opening it twice. That's 3 minutes wasted. Just imagine you doing this 20 times in 1 month. 20 times, okay? Just 20 times in 1 month right there and then, that's 60 minutes wasted. 1 hour days of work was wasted when you could have used that 1 hour to actually do something else that is also important for you. The next thing is making lists, right? I want you to write down 6 of the most important things you need to do right here, right now. What you have to do is you need to be able to complete that right now, today, right there and then. So I try to make it a habit where I will actually wake up in the day, and when I'm having either my cup of coffee for the day, or if I'm having my oolong tea for the day, I'm actually writing down all the different things that I need to do. And it is so important for me to be able to have that. Now, once again, you should either have one of these yellow pads, like right now, as I'm talking, I have one of those yellow pads. I purchase a lot of these. I have a whole attaché case full of these old yellow pads that I've used writing notes down. But what's amazing now in regarding creating lists, you have your iPhone. Your iPhone is an amazing thing, or if you have a Android-based phone, you can also use that as well. Guess what? Siri and iPhone, you can just tell Siri to go ahead and add something to your list for today, and then she will remind you for that, okay? And so another thing you can do is, guess what? You know, one thing that I'm using now is I have an Alexa, right? Alexa's with Amazon, so I have the Echo Dot. I have an Echo Dot in my bedroom. I have an Echo Dot in my kitchen. I have an Echo Dot outside where I like to hang out in my house at times. And so why I do that is because I can just say, hey, Alexa, remind me to do this. And guess what? She is gonna remind me when I needed to do something and add that to the list of things I need to be able to do, which now actually saves me time by me not having to open up my yellow pad and write things down and read that. I can just say, Alexa, do this. I can say, Siri, do this, right? So what can you do to be able to manage your time? And list building is one of the most important things. What are the 5 things that you've been wanting to accomplish within this past week that you have not accomplished, and you've actually written those down last week? So think about those. I want you to write those 5, 6 things down and make sure tomorrow, or if you're in the office right now, handle it today and get it done. Number 3 is plan how much time that you need to allocate for each task. So I do this thing where I will actually say, hey, I'm going to be able to take 15 minutes to do this, or it's going to take me 1 hour to make all these phone calls. I need to be able to know how much time I'm going to be wasting, right? How much time I'm going to be able to allocate to each one of these items I need to finish, right? If one or more of the items on your list is too big to accomplish within one day, then write down, figure it out. If it's going to take you 4 hours worth of work to accomplish something, if you're trying to create a brochure, if you're trying to create a copy, if you need to copyright something, how much time is it going to take for you to be able to do it? And always understand this. You may say 4 hours, but it might take a little bit more. But at least you know how much time you're going to be putting onto it. And then guess what? What you can do is if it's going to take more than a day, divvy it up into 5 days to be able to make sure you handle that. So you're only wasting maybe 45 minutes each day instead of saying, I'm going to do 4 hours worth of work in one day. And so that is one of the things that you need to be able to make sure you master and you guys actually teach your team to handle as well. You know, what important initiatives are you just not getting to because they take too much time, right? So chunk them up into little parts to be able to finish them, you know, right there and then. Because if you're looking at it as, oh my gosh, it's going to take me 4 hours to do this, it's a lot of time. I have to do this, I have to do that, I need to finish this. Guess what? Chunk it up, divvy it up in an amount of 5 days rather than saying, you know what, it's going to take me 4 hours, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow happens, things add up to your list, I'm going to do it tomorrow. It just keeps getting pushed forward and you cannot actually get it done. Number 4, plan the day out. That's why you're creating your list building. That's why you're allocating the amount of time, right? Plan your day out. Like for me, when my team is going to be marketing, I expect all my marketers to actually plan their schedule out. On the weekend, on a Sunday, they should already have their whole plan on who they're marketing to from Mondays to Fridays. Okay, they need to be able to have that. Our team has to actually submit their marketing plan for the week to the marketing manager so that we know where they're going. We know the addresses, we know who they're visiting. But at the same time as they can then add more things to do that. Your nurses in the field, right? When they're visiting their patients, they should have their calendar already set out so they know who they're visiting for the whole week. They should already have that handled. Now, another thing that I do when we plan our days is when we're marketing in the field, we know who we're visiting. So we'll take advantage of using Google Maps, for example, and you can plan out your route for the day to be able to figure out how much potential driving are you going to be doing within that period. So if I'm visiting 20 people today, I'm going to plan my route out. Number 1, making sure that I can have the people who are close to each other visited within each other so I'm not zigzagging across the whole map. And then if I know that it's going to take me maybe around 3 hours worth of driving, then I really know that if I'm working on an 8-hour period, that now I only have what? 5 hours left for the day. Okay, so then I can chunk each other up and divvy it up on what I need to do. Now within that 3 hours of driving, I can then tell myself, okay, you know what? I can make phone calls while I'm driving so that I don't have to waste time making phone calls when I'm parked. Okay, so I'll make phone calls while I'm driving. I'll make follow-up phone calls, thanking people for letting me see them the week before, thanking them for letting me see them once I leave their office. Okay, so you know, planning your day is such an important thing. You know, write out an hour-by-hour schedule and stick to it. Now, within that 1 hour, divvy it up into 10-minute intervals, right? So you can actually say there's 6 items that you can accomplish, major items you can accomplish within that 1 hour. Prioritize. Put the most important task first, okay? And finish that right there and then. You know, so get your people productive by examining how they're prioritizing and planning their day every day. So I'm a nurse by trade. You know, I got started in this industry as a nurse. So one thing that's important in nursing is prioritization and delegation, right? Are there things that we can transfer along to somebody else that they can actually do that is within their scope of practice? Who should we prioritize first? We're always going to prioritize somebody who's having chest pains rather than somebody saying that they had a chronic pain happening in their back. We're always going to address somebody who's having shortness of breath right here and then, rather than somebody that says they get shortness of breath when they're actually ambulating or when they were actually doing something physical. Okay, so we need to be able to learn how to prioritize. Same exact thing when it comes to doing work. When we're marketing, when we're doing something important in the office, we need to be able to do the most important things first, and learning how to prioritize is an important thing. Asking someone during an interview about their prioritization skills is something that we always do for anybody that we interview. What are how do you stand on a rating of 1 to 10 on prioritization? And then they'll say, well, I'm a 7 or 8. Great. Tell me an example that you've done that showed you paid attention to prioritizing something first. And so you have to be able to make sure that your team knows how to handle things correctly, how to prioritize. Number 6, ask, will it hurt me to throw this away? Okay, 80% of all filed or stored information is never referred to again. So why hold on to it? So there are things that you really shouldn't even need to bother doing, right? Or you need to transfer to somebody else to be able to do it for you. What are things that's in front of you that really is, not as important? It's not really going to kill anybody if you just say, you know what, forget it. There's this one show that I saw one time where Oprah said, the best way to be able to make sure is to look in your cupboard. And if you have something in your cupboard that you haven't used for more than a year, you need to either just get rid of it, or sell it away. Because if you haven't used something in a year, guess what? There is no reason in having it. That gravy boat that you have that you bought 5 years ago from TJ Maxx that you said you're going to use in Thanksgiving, but you keep on forgetting to bring it out, and you end up putting gravy in a bowl instead, right? That gravy boat that you haven't used, maybe you need to get rid of that. Maybe there's this thing that you've been wanting to do, but you just really haven't done it, and it's been more than 2 months, and it's in your list of things to do, or it's something that keeps on popping in your head. Maybe you just need to say, you know what, I'm not going to do it anymore. You need to be able to figure out what are the things that you can just get rid of from your list, or things that you shouldn't even have around. It works the same exact way if you look at your office right now. Is your office full of clutter? Go through the clutter and say, this needs to go, that needs to go, put that in the shredder. I want a clean office to be able to make sure that I can make way for more important things that needs to be able to be handled, okay? So when something interferes with your schedule, I want you guys to be able to handle it. Meaning that, let's say, for example, you set your schedule out for the week and something comes up, something interferes, your plan for this hour. Just like the first, part of this where we say touch it once, take actions. Guess what? Handle what goes in front of you when something interferes. Get it out of the way, delegate it if you need to, and keep moving forward. Go back to doing what you need to do for your schedule. It is important that you guys have great time management skills. Something that I always suggest and I always look for when I hire the right people. Whether you're a nurse, a director of nursing, an administrator, and I'm hiring you, I need to see, are you good at prioritizing your time? Because I don't want you wasting the money that I invested in you. If you are getting paid $85,000 an hour, I want every penny that I spend on you to actually be put to work and not wasted, okay? So another thing I always work on when I come into an office, let's say, for example, a company says, Michael, I want you to come into our facility. I want you to be able to see how can we save some money? How can we actually, improve certain things? And I would walk in and I would ask the owner, the CEO, the manager, the administrator, and say, okay, let's go ahead and start talking. And somewhere around an hour, 2 hours later in, I'm going to say, okay, let's take a look at everybody's computer. Okay. And one thing that I make sure in my office is we have a no social media policy, meaning the computers in the office will not ever be used for social media. And we actually make sure our IT department blocks any social media access to any of the computers that we have there. And the reason for is there's studies that are being projected out there that's saying that social media is taking a lot of time. Because if one of your office people is spending 10 minutes a day in social media, 15 minutes a day, okay, let's say just say 15 minutes a day, and let's say you have 10 people in your office. 15 minutes a day times 10 people in your office, that right there is what? That's 150 minutes. That's 2 hours and a half every day. If your average salary for each one for in the office is, let's say, at $30, that right there alone is $75 wasted. If you then just go ahead and take a look at that, and if you are working a 365-day year, okay, we do 365 multiplied by $75, your company is already wasting $27,000 because your employees are taking advantage and using social media. Now, is social media important? Yes, for the person who's in charge of the social media for the company. Okay? Next thing is this. Your phone is such an amazing thing. Your phone will help you with so many things. It's going to save you a lot of time with different things. But social media in the phone should be just left in the phone when you're working. I don't understand why people are being allowed to use their phones in their office. So I don't have one of those no phone policies. I've given that up. I used to do that in the beginning, but I don't anymore. I don't mind you having your cell phone in my office. I do mind you using your cell phone while you're being paid. It's the same thing as those people that smokes, right? When we hire people and we ask the question, listen, we have to ask, do you smoke? Great. If you smoke, this is the policy for smoking. You cannot smoke during work time. You can only use that allocated during your break time, right? I used to be one of those nurses that worked in hospitals and used to shake my head because the managers and the smokers would have extra break time, right? And then these are the same people sometimes that would unfortunately, would be, most of the time, majority of them would complain saying that, oh my gosh, today's so busy. Oh my gosh, it's been so hectic. Well, you just wasted 30 minutes today going out several times smoking. So maybe if you actually was working during the time that you're supposed to be working, maybe you're not really rushing everywhere. It goes the same exact way on any different things. You need to assess how and what are people doing that's wasting their time within the organization, and to be able to make sure that you lessen that. So just imagine if you can just remove people from using social media during work time and concentrate on work, you can save yourself somewhere around $25,000 to $35,000 a year. That's a lot of money. Next thing is, I would also look at chit-chatting, right? Work is work. I love the water cooler talk, but at the same time as water cooler chatting can also cause the company a lot of money. I believe in creating a great team. I believe in communications, but at the same time I also believe in the fact that we need to make sure that we do everything for the success of the company. The reason why people have jobs is because the company is successful, can bring in patients, can bring in new referral sources, and if people are wasting their time, things will start falling off. Same thing for marketers. Marketers need to make sure that we need to work on our timing on everything, making sure that we handle things when it's in front of us, right there and then, making sure that we're not wasting time and losing referral sources. One thing that we teach in Home Health Success Academy in the 10xpatientreferrals.com online learning platform is we want you guys to be able to know how to market. We want to be able to make sure that you're following up people, that you're presenting properly, that you're closing, that you are getting in front of the right people. Right? Why waste your time talking to a gatekeeper when you need to talk to the administrator? So you need to learn the skills and tactics to be able to go past the gatekeeper so you're not wasting your time trying to sell to someone who's not going to refer to you. So everything that we do is about time and speed. Time plus speed equals success. The reason for that is if we can get from A to Z fast enough without stopping in the middle, it allows us to be able to repeat the process all over again. So I hope you guys liked this video on time management. And let me ask this question. What are things that you can do or that you can suggest, to be able to improve time in your office, to improve time in your marketing? Make sure you let us know. We want to definitely hear from you guys. Always know that home health marketing is easy when you guys know what you are doing.